there! Thanks for joining me today. I hope that you'll stick around with me and paint these wild pansies, violets, who knows what they are, just a bunch of violet type flowers. And today I'll be using my Mei Liang watercolors. I'll also be using my size 10 Zhu Ting round brush. I have 2 jars of water, one for rinsing my dirty brushes and one for painting. I have a nice palette here for mixing and blending, and I have a couple of cloths for dabbing any puddles or mistakes, etc. So let's get started. Today I'm actually painting something that I was quite inspired by just scrolling my Instagram, and my only regret is that I did not get the name of the artist. I didn't really make a note of it. I just noticed it, and it was this beautiful um, garden or field of pansies or violets, all these different colors, and it was just, it was beautiful. And I loved that there really wasn't white space or background color, but that everything was essentially a flower or a leaf, and in different stages of blooming. And I just, as my afternoon went on, I noticed how much that was kind of in my head. And I thought, I just have to paint something like that. So here's the thing. I don't know. I don't have experience with this. I haven't painted anything like this. It was so vibrant. It used so many colors, and the color palette was flawless. I mean, it's just a brilliant, brilliant, joyful, beautiful work. And so if I get anything that is even just a fraction of how joyful that was, I will be so happy. So I've spritzed my watercolors, and I'm mixing some of my lemon yellow with just a tiny bit of yellow ochre, because I don't want to muddy this, but I don't want it super bright. One of the things that I really have to work on when I'm doing something that is supposed to be wild is not making patterns, not having my yellow florals evenly spaced, and whatnot. That is really kind of difficult for me. So, I mean, it's just something I have to watch. I tend to want to, if I'm not paying attention, I will just kind of, you know, evenly spaced, triangulate things. It's ridiculous. So I'm starting with just some random abstract kind of squiggles, and then I'm just brushing in some water to create more of a petal shape. Kind of give this one a little bit of a different angle if I can. I just loved all of the, I could not say how much thought went into selecting the color palette and how much swatching, but to me it just seemed like there had to have been such effort in just selecting and all of that. So here I'm dropping in some cadmium red. So, and I was not using lemon yellow before. That was cadmium yellow. I knew that was not quite right. Okay, I love it already. I do want to be sure I have some things that are, differently sized as well. Just some buds, or, whatever they would be. Yes, buds I think would be appropriate. But I love this already. It's very fun. Now this I'm using is fresh purple. Whew, that is fresh. I'm kind of wondering if I should tone that down, maybe go to the violet red and then drop this in, but let's just go crazy, I think. Let's just do something here and see what we think. I'm just going to fill this page, which is to me such a departure. Now the brushes I'm using today are these Zhu Ting brushes, and I want to mention one of the reasons that I just love them so much, because often I use my Intuition brushes by Artigria, which are just, you know, some basic brushes, no frills, no thrills, but I love them so much. They get the job done and they are workhorses. But the reason I love this set particularly is because these tips do not make that super duper pointy point. Now, there are applications where that point is absolutely wonderful and needed. You know, I'm glad to have it. I'm glad to have a brush, and those Artigria brushes do that very, very well. But when I know I'm going to paint something and kind of have a rounded effect, rounded petals, you know, whatever it is, then I just like to be really sure that if I can, you know, sometimes I just like to choose a brush that is softer at that point and just rounded rather than pointy. So I'm going to drop a little black in here. One of the things that, because I'm not super experienced, I just like to play, and I often have not tested colors necessarily. I haven't tested every color combination. So sometimes I know that I end up with colors that react in really interesting manners with each other. And so that's always fun. It's, you know, it's just a learning process. And so I was prompted to think that because of adding this black and just thinking, you know, I don't know how that is going to behave on the purple. So far, I really, really love this. I want to go ahead and put some greens in here maybe. I love this sap green. You all know that I tend to almost only use my olive green. I'm such a snob about that. But I thought today, you know, I would like to use just some brighter colors, just some vivid things that, you know, typically I don't use. This is one of those. So I just want to challenge myself to do some things that are different and, you know, really just play. I think that's really it. Just getting some little stem bits on these buds. Well, this is for sure going to be a piece that does not have, you know, a stem touching everything. It's just not going to have that. And, you know, that's not rare for me. Often do that. Maybe some big leaves. I could switch to a bigger brush, but okay, so far I absolutely love it. Okay. Feel like this black could have just a little more black, but I notice everything is kind of faded, so. Oh, you saw me do that. Okay, that is why we check the brush when we've wet it and then dipped into our pigment. We just double check that there's not water up on the handle, because it will go flooding down into your painting, and that is generally not fun. I caught that very quickly, and it's not a big deal, but okay. Let's see. Maybe some blue. And I'm thinking I like this cobalt blue. Oh, it looks so bright on my palette, but but it's not as bright in my swatches. It's kind of a cornflower looking blue. Some of these can just be, you know, a couple of petals peeking out from behind some other florals. Okay. Well, some of these I think are a bit, you know, washed out, loose, maybe even looser than I necessarily wanted, just in that having so much pigment washing them out. Um, but that's okay, and it lends itself to being able to come back and layer on. I will say, however, it's probably not quite as vibrant as the beautiful painting I saw today. And I will, if I can find that again, hopefully I made sure to like it. I'm not always great about that. Just if I'm busy, kind of, or distracted, but if I can find it, I will for sure mention the artist on here. I am not looking for credit for this idea, and I also do not want to be accused of stealing. Although if it's close enough for somebody to think I stole the idea, then that's goals. I don't know, kind of. Oh, I love it. Yeah, this is doing it. So let's get some other leaves in here, some other colors. So I want to use this emerald green. Just get some stuff in there. Uh, Now the other thing is, because this is so unplanned, the leaf placement feels a bit more challenging to me. Because it's not so much a, you know, think it through where on my painting should these leaves go. It's kind of feels like it wants me to be a little more intuitive, and that's challenging. So I want a little yellow in these blues. Just add a little more yellow into my palette here. I almost feel like maybe I should have grabbed something with a little more orange, but this is okay. Gosh, I like it. It's fun. I really love these blues. The bleeds on those petals are just super fun. Let's see what happens when we use this violet red. Oh, that's nice. And you can tell sometimes when I put these centers in, I don't know exactly, you know, how I want to do that until I'm actually kind of doing it and painting it in there, and then kind of changing it a little, you know, kind of fine tuning it. I'm kind of trying to stay away from anything that's still too wet. This right here is quite wet. And you can tell I'm not really worried about making them all the same. This has a ton of bleed from that yellow, and the other blues do not. And that's fine with me. I love it. I think this could be really, really adorable just cut up into bookmarks eventually. But so I may do it twice. If I end up loving it, I may do it twice, because right now I know I'd like to have one to keep to frame. These are so fun. Get some of those kind of foreshortened petals kind of in there. Gosh, I love that color. And it just bleeds so beautifully into the water. One thing I think I could have done is I could have clustered some flowers a bit more. And what I will do is come back with some of those flowers that I've already done, the purple and whatnot, and come back and add some, you know, just pieces of flowers. I think that's going to help the composition too. Things that are just kind of behind and peeking out. Overlapping is also something that probably the original artist did a little bit and has mastered more of the idea of how to overlap, how to have foreground interest, and how to achieve that look in the painting. But that's why we practice, and that's why we learn, right? So that's something I think I could certainly do better. Okay, I'm going to go in and add some more of these yellows. But I know I want a bit more pigment ready. I mean, while I stirred that, I got most of it on my brush. Of course, these are very, very thirsty brushes, so that's not surprising. And I still think I could brighten that up just a tad. I got a little bit more of the yellow ochre than I maybe expected or wanted. Okay, this is kind of soaking in quickly, I noticed, so probably did not have quite as much water in that. And now I have a little bit of a bleed there that I did definitely unintentionally, but at this moment I'm not going to worry about it. I'll watch it. Yeah, I'm not worried about it. I'm just going to go ahead and kind of soak that up, and then I can go back and maybe add a bit more water, more pigment, however I want to do that. I don't really love that I went over my blue there. Don't really want a green, but I'm not stressed about that. I just dabbed that pigment off and no worries. Yeah, I love it. No one asking and me letting everyone know. My water looks disgusting. Okay, I went ahead and freshened my water, and I also added another jar of water so that I have a jar for rinsing my dirty brushes, and then I can use my other jar, clean water, just for painting. So let's get some more greens in here. And I'm thinking I like this deep Hooker's green. I like the sap green too, honestly. Well, that, we're not going to worry about that blending a bit with this olive. But I think that was the green I wish I had gone with instead of that emerald. And that's okay. I think those touches of that, you know, it's kind of a turquoise. I think that's fine. Let's get a little more water in this. And yeah, this is fun. If you're watching this and you're not painting it, put this on your list of things to paint. Even if you don't love it, even if you're not, you know, if it doesn't appeal to you for whatever reason, because this is so fun, so relaxing. I think let yourself take some time to just enjoy the process of this. So fun. And now I'm just going where, you know, I have made some stems and I'm running a darker value of pigment along just here and there on that, just to give it a little bit of shadow, a little bit of depth. And then up on these leaves, just a little. Not trying to do it perfectly at all. I am trying to keep this just loosey-goosey. That one I was clearly trying to make a little perfect or something, so, and I don't like it because not only was I trying too hard, but I did not get it perfect. So there, we just kind of erase that away. A little bit of water. Okay, I want to go in and give some of these purple flowers just another layer. I'm not trying to give them a perfect, you know, look or anything like that. Just very quickly and just kind of doing what feels good here. This is that fresh purple that when I first brushed it out, I was crazy surprised at it. Okay, and as that begins to dry, I will try to drop some more of the black into that, I think. But now I don't want to overdo that. I don't want the black to just bleed like crazy into it, so I really mean it when I say as it's drying some. And then I think I could take some of that and just, you know, here and there in the background, kind of just add I love these. Holy cow. All right, time to get some of that black in there, I think. Hopefully I didn't wait too long. Now here, Patricia is going to pay attention. Did you see my little drip end up down there? So that's fine, but see that little bit of water there? I just take it. I keep so many towels around that, you know, it's almost hard to not get something dried off. Oh, it bleeds so nicely into it when the pigment is still a bit wet. But listen, for those that were a little too dry, it's okay. We're just going to let that be a little bit less loose. And I'm not sure I've been using my clean water, but that's okay. Now that my water is quite dirty, I can be reminded a little more of that. I'd like to get another color into these violet red flowers. And I'm kind of thinking this cadmium or maybe orange yellow. Let's just see. What could go wrong? I know I didn't do it early enough for those to bleed. So I'm just going to kind of place some of the pigment, and then if I feel like it, I'll go in and kind of soften it. But right here, I kind of like what's going on. So, and I think I'm going to take a little bit of that. This is orange yellow. You see me running out of room? I'm just going to take a bit of that and brush some in behind some of these. So it's just peeking out, you see. Now, I don't love that I did two things right there, but I think it'll be fine. I just kind of, that was a lot. So maybe I'll drop some red into a couple of those. Let's see. Yeah, that works. I may do that for all of them. So much for mixing it up. Let's just leave it like that. Oh my gosh, I love this. Now what else can I do? One of the things I loved about the painting that I saw was that really there were probably more of these larger flowers in the foreground, and I think I'll make sure to do that next time. But so far I'm really loving this. And you know, if I decide this is more of a spray of flowers than, you know, than a whole just a full painting, not, you know, not a pattern, but if I decide that, you know, that's fine. You can kind of change what you're doing as you go. But I am thinking maybe I can get a blue flower down here. The blue is so faint. It is a very pretty cornflower type blue. Yeah, I like it. This works for me. And how about one of these purple ones down here? It's easy to forget that you can have two of the same flower together. You can actually do that. Nature does it all the time. It's easy for me to forget that anyway. Maybe I'm the only one, but pretty. These are so fun. Just thinking that I can kind of go behind this and kind of in front of that one. And one more over here. I just pushed some of that pigment out into that water. Just kind of thought it needed it. This is so fun, y'all. Really. And if you are painting this, I would love to know, you know, that you're enjoying yourself too. And I also love to know, you know, if you're finding anything challenging, what your particular experience is. I'd love for you to leave that in the comments. Okay, I'm going to add another layer in here on some of these yellow flowers. Some of these little peeking out flowers I really did not drop any pigment into for that bit of extra bleed. This is a good opportunity to do that and also add a bit into these that I already did. Just a little more in the center and then also into the yellow that I just put in there. Some of that, did I mention how fast this yellow seems to dry? My goodness. It really does. Gosh, just love it. I don't know. You know, even if people are watching this thinking this is the ugliest thing they've ever seen, I am not just having a wonderful time, but really, I'm just tickled with this. I think it's really fun and really cute. Okay, let's get some more green in here. Oof, need to add some yellow here in this in my blue flower. And here, forget these guys exist. Oh, My kids can be very loud out there. Let's do some more of this sap green in just a couple of places. It's a very bright color. And see, here's another thing. I don't know about color theory. I know, you know, as far as kind of leading the eye, and that lighter parts in an image are going to, they're going to command more attention. And I am sure that there are people very well acquainted with how to color code a painting to really maximize that, to almost to capitalize on it. I'm not one of those people. So so I'm just doing, you know, touches of this. This is a very fun green, and obviously with so many brights, it is quite perfect, I think. I mean, I could be overdoing it too. Let's see. Let's go with this Hawker's Green Light. Just get some bits in there. Oh, do not like when they look like fingers. It's so easy to do, but look at me. Now this is one of the downsides of these brushes, can be that because they don't come to a point, you know, sometimes you find you miss that. But we're doing okay. This is for fun. This is for play. And I'm just trying to not necessarily fill, but I am kind of, you know, fleshing out this the space inside, so that there's just more depth. I want to get some variety here, so I'm kind of dragging in some more rounded leaves. Not sure how much I love that, if at all. I don't love that, and so I'm going to try something here. This may be a terrible idea, but I'm just going to make that into either a leaf or a couple of big leaves. I just didn't love the shape. This is better for me. Okay, not perfect, and that's okay. We're not going to worry about perfection. How about some stems in this color? don't love that I brushed that right onto my flower. It doesn't really matter. I am going to just a tiny bit with some clean water, just brush, and I've really mostly blotted out all of the water from this brush, but just to kind of soften that green portion there. I could drop a little more purple, but then that would kind of cut some of that softness there, so I'm not going to do that, and I think this is fine. Just get some various stems in here, all the different greens. Get some that are in different widths. Okay, I want to get some another layer of these petals. That is a fun color that I probably would not generally use intentionally, and I am so glad I tried it, because I quite like it. I mean, for sure, for the purposes of this painting, for sure. Okay, get to that purple before it completely dries. But knowing this black really does like to just kind of bleed into a gray. See, just to oblivion if the pigment is still too wet. Maybe a little bit of olive green. Just some of it. And I have decided at this point that I quite like this as a spray of flowers, so I think I would still like to attempt this as this full, full page of stuff, but not quite today. I like this olive. It's a great deep shade to get, just to get some depth in there. And I think I'll soften them. I'm not sure, because I'm Just not loving all of that. I almost miss the white space. Okay, let's get some other colors in there and do kind of likewise and just soften it. Maybe even add some into some of this olive. And then maybe dab some of that out. There we go. Yeah, I think I like that better. I think I like that better. Just soften these here and there. I like that. I like the painterly effect that that just gives. Okay, now if I can remember where I put all of these so that I can go in and add just some strokes of water to soften those. I'm just worried that I'm stressing over my ability to remember. But for sure, that is a nice effect. I didn't love it so much with the olive. Was not really not that happy with it. But I quite like it here. And then how about some veins and whatnot on some of these leaves? Now here's where a pointier brush is probably your better friend. But I don't tend to love switching my brush. I just don't do it a lot unless I need a different shape. Cute. Do not need veins on every leaf. Not at all. You can just do them where you feel. Yeah, just here and there. Like one more yellow flower up here. Just right up here, fill in this gap here. Let's get some veins on this set of leaves out here. The oopsie, the oopsie leaves. You know, it's all just play and learning, and you know, sometimes part of that learning is, ew, I do not like what I did there, and so you know, figuring that out, that's an important thing, and it's a gift to have the opportunity to learn and to be able to improve it. I do like this a lot better than the other leaves. Just some little details on some of these. Just kind of dragging my brush along. Do not like how solid and kind of forced that looks, so there we go. Sometimes I find that picking up my brush just a hair can help with that. Do not like how I have two of the very same looking leaves angles pattern there, so just kind of erasing that, sort of brushing that pigment and distributing it into the leaf there. I like it when leaves are relaxing, when painting them and all the little details just kind of flows, and you know, you have kind of a loose handle on the brush, and just kind of all kind of flows out easily. So cute, so fun. Okay, need a little bit of another layer of petals in that yellow flower that I added at the top. I give that just a moment to dry a little, and as it does, I want to add just a little detail on some of these sap green leaves. Nice. This honestly was such a nice exercise for me in trying to stay relaxed and um, being able to paint something that really resisted some degree planning and being logical. It just kind of helped me to keep it loose. There we go. Let's get some orange in that yellow flower that is right there in the sun. Right there. My goodness. What a joyful, joyful painting today. I'm not sure about this down here, so felt like I surrounded this guy a little too much, so just kind of blotting some of that pigment away. And then I think I'll just put some green in here. Just kind of loosen that up a little. And then just kind of blot some of that out. Just soften it. I don't care that it's kind of a mess there. Okay, so I would just like this orange to flow a little better, peek out a little. Okay, I think that's fine. Okay, for now, I am going to call this pretty much done, I think. I just had an amazing time. It was so fun. I hope that you did too. I want to thank you again for joining me, and I want to let you know that that means so much to me. I hope that you are finding inspiration, whether it's from me or other artists or your garden, the weather. I hope that you're finding inspiration to paint or to make your art. And as always, happy painting.